Catering is another important decision to make as you're planning your reception, because a good meal is a really positive thing at your wedding. The first thing you need to know is whether the location where you're having your reception provides catering and that you need to use their catering service, or whether you can hire an independent caterer. Either way, you want to be sure to taste the food that they'll be serving at your wedding and make sure that you like it. Most caterers will arrange a tasting. Some caterers will have an open house situation where they invite a lot of prospective brides and grooms to come and have a tasting. And that's a really good way to do it if it's available, because they're much more likely to make a wider variety of foods in larger quantities since they're expecting a lot of customers. If you're going to be meeting privately for a tasting, you'll probably want to agree ahead of time on the basic menu that you want, and maybe she could suggest a few side dishes or something that you'd like to add as well. You need to decide whether you're going to have a buffet or a plated meal. Both have their pros and cons. You would automatically think that having a plated served meal is going to be more expensive than a buffet, but it isn't always, and that's something you would want to ask about. When there's a buffet situation, the caterers have to prepare a larger quantity of food, and that can be more expensive for them. So depending on the size of your reception and what you're planning to serve, the expense might go either way. And it goes beyond expense when making this decision. A plated meal, a seated meal, can be more elegant and more formal, and it may add a certain formality to your wedding. A buffet is much more casual. People can pick and choose between what's being served and can have seconds if they're still hungry. So you need to decide what fits the mood and the atmosphere and your personalities in deciding which way to go. A kind of interesting trend that's become popular on the coasts is synchronized serving if you're having a plated meal. And this is where, say you had 8-person tables, where 8 servers, each holding a plate of the salad or the main course, whatever time in the evening it is, each stand behind a guest, and then in synchronization, place the plate in front of each guest at the table at the same time. It's just kind of a neat, elegant, kind of a fun little touch to add if that's something that you think you would like to do. Ask how many servers there will be and what their responsibilities are during the reception. How many people will be serving a plated meal or will be attending a buffet to be sure that the dishes are refilled and that guests are easily served. One disadvantage to a buffet is that a lot of your guests can end up standing in line to wait for a meal. So something really good to plan in that case is to have the DJ move from table to table, if not the DJ, someone else that you designate, but to go from table to table, releasing 2 or 3 tables of guests at a time, so your whole reception isn't standing in line all at once. The other guests might as well stay seated and enjoy themselves until it's their turn. It's also a really good idea to have a 2-sided buffet where people can walk on each side of the buffet, so more people can go through the line more quickly. And the things that slow a buffet line down the most are a make-your-own salad at the beginning. If you have lettuce and individual bowls of carrots and cucumbers and green peppers, whatever you decide you want to serve, it takes quite a while for guests to get through that portion of the buffet. So if you want to move your buffet along, you can either have a bowl of pre-done salad with the vegetables mixed together and maybe 2 choices of salad dressing that they can add, or have a plated salad at the end of the buffet where guests can just pick the salad up and carry it back to their table with them without trying to juggle their salad plate as they move through the buffet line. Keep an eye out for people that might need help with the buffet and maybe ask a family member to help. Might be a mother with several young children or an elderly relative that uses a cane or a walker that might have difficulty making their own plates. So you might offer to either have a relative or friend either help them carry their plates or to maybe dish them up a plate and just bring it to them where they're seated, because they'll appreciate that consideration. It'll help them have a more relaxed, enjoyable evening. Another thing to keep into account is dietary needs of your guests. And while I'm not saying you need to cater to every finicky person that you know, if you know you have a number of guests that are vegetarian or keep kosher or have other religious or personal beliefs, and you can easily accommodate them, it's really considerate, and it shows your guests that you care about them and that you care that they have a good time. So, like I said, you don't have to cater to finicky people, but to major groups of dietary restrictions, you might just want to keep that in mind.